What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Game week 26. We got a preview coming at you right now. We are going to talk our typical stuff. We're going to talk about captaincies in this game week. We are going to talk about transfers in this game week and team reveals that'll include a little talk about some wild cards going on. So make sure to stay tuned on that. And the wild card maestro himself, Doc. Doc, introduce yourself.
Well, I had a terrible game week, and the reason I had a terrible game week because I thought I'm gonna sacrifice this game week kind of to avoid wildcarding while everybody's wildcarding. So I took a -8, and I was planning to take another -8 next game week to save my wildcard to game week 33, 34, or 37, somewhere around that area because I saw more value. And even after 2 days ago games and matches, I was like, okay, I'm in a good spot, everything is fine. I'll probably be ahead of the herd. Everybody's gonna wildcard, use their bench boost. I'll use it in a better game week until last night when everything came down crumbling. We're not expecting as many double game weeks and blank game weeks as we thought we would have until last night. So game week 34 double is smaller than we thought it's gonna be, and game week 37 double also will be smaller than we thought it's gonna be. And game week 32 blank game week will be smaller than we thought it's gonna be because of last night's results in the FA Cup. Therefore, I'm wildcarding. So stay tuned. Throughout the episode, I'll be talking about the wildcard. I'll be showing my latest draft. Did some tinkering this morning, and let's get into this episode.
Yeah, speaking about the last game week, yours wasn't that bad at all. I ended up scoring 58 points, and I have no clue where the heck anybody got their points from. There were four people that actually scored points in the game week, and it seems like everybody has them, and that got you to 70 points. And then there's people that got more points than that because the average is like 73 or 78. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get into it. All right,
Let's
Doc.
get into it.
So let's talk captaincy. What are you thinking about captaincy?
Captaincy is extremely fun this game week, let's say. So, since it's fun and since there are puns there, I'm gonna move the question to you. Who are you captaining, Joe?
It's Saka, Rashford, Kane. That's about it. That's it. There's
Really?
three options. Yeah. All right. What about you?
What about Haaland?
He's playing Newcastle. It's boring. It probably won't happen. Yeah, Newcastle are
Well,
playing worse than they have like the rest of the season, but like they're still better than your I don't know bottom 15 teams in the league. So
I absolutely agree. So Haaland will probably be my vice captain because they're playing Newcastle and Bruno is back. So I think Newcastle haven't been doing so well defensively for the past couple of weeks because Bruno was suspended. And now that he's back and hopefully not injured, I think, man, I think Newcastle will be more solid, back to being more solid. So even before I was planning to wildcard, I was planning to play Trippier this game week away to Man City, and I wasn't planning to captain Haaland since I have Saka already. Arsenal are playing Bournemouth, so seems like it's the most direct way to go to a nice fixture. They are the only kind of big team that have really a nice fixture is Bournemouth at home because Man City have Newcastle, so Newcastle is facing Man City. Man United are facing Liverpool, so you will be happy to know that I'm not captaining Salah. There are really not many options. You cannot really captain Manchester United players since they're playing at Anfield away. Maybe Chelsea versus Leeds, but who's trusting Chelsea nowadays? There are not really many options, but it's a good game week to punt if you are planning, let's say, to go Odegaard instead of Saka. I have a gut feeling about Nketiah. I'm probably selling him on a wild card, but I have a weird gut feeling about Nketiah this game week. So it's absolutely gut feel. Everybody's getting rid of him. I'm getting rid of him, not for the reasons that I want to. It's just because I'm wild carding. It's just moving forward. It will be safer to go with Odegaard. So I think Saka is kind of the automatic captain.
yeah, yeah. I would agree. There's not there's not as much variance. I feel like in the captaincy pick as it seems at first. So you talked about Saka. I might be bringing in a captain myself. What do transfers look like, Doc? Thoughts for people to
A
bring
lot
in
of
stuff?
a lot of people are transferring Tony probably, especially after we heard that his hearing regarding the issue that he has is going to be probably in April. So a lot of people are transferring in Tony for Nketiah probably, or even maybe Darwin. So Tony's a shout. If I had to guess, I don't know what you're planning to do. I don't know your transfers, and I have no clue who's your captain yet. So I'm waiting for the team reveal. But I have a gut feeling that Tony is a great shout. People are bringing in Brentford. People are bringing in Brighton players because they have the best, let's say, run of fixtures with the doubles. Almost no blanks. Well, Brentford don't have a blank, but Brighton do. So yeah, I would guess probably Tony will be the most transferred in player this game week. Probably.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got a laundry list of people that I like think should definitely be like brought in. And I'm sure like we'll hit that in part of our team news. But yeah, I think Tony's a good one. I think there's a possibility if you wanted something different, bring in Trossard. I think a lot of people are staying away from him because Jesus is coming back at some undisclosed point in time because he keeps practicing but hasn't made an appearance yet. But I think Trossard, he's a critical part of the Arsenal attack now. Then let's see. You could do, yeah, Brighton players. There's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 Brighton players that you could actually bring in. You could bring in Sanchez if you wanted to give you, I believe he has 2 double game weeks on both sides of 28. So that would give you 4 fixtures for your goalkeeper if you wanted. There's Ferguson. You have Mitoma in March. March's underlying stats look better. Mitoma feels better to own. So, I mean, I would probably go March right now, but either one, it's basically a toss up. Uh, like I said, Mitoma's probably your more fun pick, and I think you have a handful of Brentford defenders also. Aside from Tony, that you can bring in. I know a lot of people are talking about bringing in Raya. I don't think you use the goalkeeper transfer on that. If you're going to bring in a goalkeeper, I say you bring in your main goalkeeper like Kepa or somebody like that, and then bring in Sanchez also as your backup to hit as many fixtures as you can there. So there's a few more. It's whatever. We'll talk about them eventually. Probably in my team reveal. There's a lot of good options that you can set up for in the coming weeks if you do pull the trigger there.
Absolutely. And I'm probably going to kind of ruin or spoil my team reveal, but I did a bit of research when it comes to which Brentford to go for. So if you're on a wild card, those are the information that I could gather. If you are deciding which three, Brentford and Brighton, to go for, I would recommend to go more of an attacking outlook for Brighton and more of a defensive outlook for Brentford. So Tony is an automatic choice, right? So Tony and 2 defenders. And if you're going to choose which 2 defenders from Brentford, I would recommend to go to Raya and then any other defender. Let's talk about this point. Raya is more likely to gain bonus among the Brentford defenders. So I would probably pick Raya. It's almost an automatic pick. And then which defender from Brentford is the question here. Attacking stats, Pinnock is the best option when it comes to attacking stats for attacking returns. You have Henry, who if they play 5 at the back, he's just basically a wing back. He's the Reece James that that we hope to be. And then you have Ben Mee. Ben Mee have great attacking threat as well. But Pinnock, when it comes to statistics, Pinnock is ahead. So Raya, Pinnock, and Tony are my choice for Brentford. When it comes to Brighton, you can go for 1 defender, probably Dunk, and then maybe 2 attackers. So it's between Marsh, Mituma, and because the team structure matters. So you can go for 3, let's say McAllister, March, and Mitoma, but for team structure wise, it's better to have kind of an expensive midfielder, relatively expensive midfielder in there. I currently have March and Mitoma because McAllister in the last game dropped deeper. McAllister has the best attacking statistics at the moment, but because he was playing as the number 10. But once they have a striker available, and I think Welbeck started the last game or played in the last game as a striker, McAllister dropped deeper. He's on penalties. It's one of the 50-50 decisions that I have in my mind. But at the moment, I have Stupinian. Hopefully, he's injury free. I have March. Hopefully, he's injury free. And I have Mitoma.
Yeah. Well, you gave us a little insight in there, Doc. So let's just go right over to your wild card team that you have, and you can kind of expand upon those thoughts and pick into the guys that are lonely sitting in the corner that Doc hasn't talked about yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So the automatic picks here, like when I started my draft, by the way, you notice the goalkeepers are Raya and Ward. After I sent Joe this picture to put it in the graphics of the video, Ward became Kepa, right? So it's Raya and Kepa. The automatic picks, like I said, I just put the players that I really wanted in the team and then I built around them. So Raya came in, Pinnock came in, Stupinian, Saka, Rashford, Mitoma, March, Odegaard, Tony, Holland. And then I started playing around with the team, and kind of this is where it led me. You want some Newcastle players since they don't blank in Game Week 28. Again, go to fpl.team and build the team and see how it looks like. This team was built on the idea that I'm going to jump on some players in the future. For example, Bruno, Luke Shaw. So I'm kind of, the structure is there to help me to jump on other players. Kind of there are the 50-50 decisions to make Estupinian or Dunk. Gabriel or Saliba, maybe. Trippier is there. Shar or someone else, maybe like Burn, March or McAllister. But the structure is there. Rashford is probably definitely there. Harry Kane or Watkins. So those are kind of the 50-50 decisions. So the team structure will probably stay. It's just I have some 50-50 decisions. I was looking at Reece James to kind of fit him in the team somehow, but his recent numbers, especially after Graham Potter took over Chelsea. They don't look great as much as they used to look under Tuchel. But yeah, kind of this is the same team structure. The 50-50s are Kane or Watkins, what Brighton attacker to go for, and defender, what Arsenal defender to go for. This is the team. Let me know if anybody else is wildcarding down in the comments. If your wildcard team is very different than mine. What do you think about this, Joe?
I have a complaint with one of your transfer thoughts, or one of
Which is
your 50-50s. Watkins versus Kane. What does this man have to do to get respect in the community? Like, he freaking
I mean,
scores 18 out of the last 25 games, like, over the season. And people are like, yeah, I could throw him out for Greenwood and just, like, have him be my third bench. The man scores points consistently. It's
well,
Tony or Watkins.
I
That's the
think
thought
I,
pattern.
I think we're a bit blinded by the double game weeks. I absolutely agree. So the double game weeks, Watkins has Chelsea and Leicester in 29, while Spurs do not have a double game week. So it's one extra game. Probably I'm gonna go for Kane. I like it more like you mentioned. Let's give the guy some respect. And Wolves and Nottingham Forest in the next two. Doesn't blank in 28. By the way, one of the main reasons I'm actually wildcarding. I got swayed to the wildcard because Spurs are not gonna blank. If they were gonna blank, they would have a nice double game week coming up. So I was gonna save my wildcard for later. But since there is no more double game week for Spurs, I might as well just jump on right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump through every screen on Twitter that people are like, yeah, I'm selling Kane again this week. What? Stop. Uh, so a couple things to point out here. First off, you're not a man of risk. Why do you have Tony there? He's on 8 yellows. If he gets a yellow this game and next game, he can't play the double game week, and you have a single game week player. What's the thoughts there?
By the way, take that back. The reason I'm in the situation I'm in because I've been taking a lot of risks this season. Um, yeah, Tony is just the best choice to go for. If he gets two yellows, unfortunate. if he gets the ban, unfortunate, and then move him on. You cannot just basically live in fear of those two yellows, especially him being an attacker, despite he attracts them. But yeah, if he gets two yellows, we'll deal with it at that moment. But for now, I'm not really worried about it.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Hmm. So going into game week 28, free hitting then?
No. I'm going to have 10 players without a hit in game week 28. So that's why I'm wildcarding, because the original plan is what was not to wildcard, -8 in game week 27 to get all the Brighton and the Brentfords that I need, and then free hit in 29. Don't need it anymore. So the free hit will be saved for later double game weeks or blank game weeks.
All right.
But I'm bench boosting 29.
Chip sucks anyways. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Nobody asked about
I
bench
agree.
boost, Doc. Check the comments. Nobody's down there asking about
Yeah,
it. Um,
I tend to agree. Yeah.
okay. All right. All right. All right. I see. I see. Yeah, and your goalkeeper transfer or thought that you had is exactly what I was talking about. Have your main goalkeeper, and then I was saying Sanchez, but Raya is a good one too. Um, which I know, like when you have two goalkeepers of that quality, you can swap in and out wherever you want. But yeah, for me, the way I look at goalkeepers is I'm like I have a main goalkeeper and then my backup, and the backup never leaves the bench. But if they have doubles, they can come on because it doesn't feel goalkeepers have the opportunity to get points even when their team gets crushed, which is an interesting thing about the position. Because yes, you can score goals, get assists in the other positions, but goalkeepers have to make three saves, and they're making points back for you. So, yeah, that's interesting. And like I said, right up the alley that I was talking about. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you.
I should warn the viewers, I'm going for double Brentford defense, but they have not been great this season away from home. So just a word of caution.
Yep. That means bring in three of them. Okay, heading into my team now. It's it's a thing. I mean, 54 points if you include the -4 from this last game week. A good old drop to over 1 million now. Yeah, I doubled my rank that last week, and it was. If you follow me on Twitter, I have like a thread of like kind of my thoughts of the game week and all that relative to my team. But I think the general thought that I had was, especially when I was making transfers last week and I made a -4, I wanted to bring in Saka because I knew Saka was going to get points. Look at the last video. I told Doc, don't captain Salah. He's trash. He's going to get one return in 2 games. Saka is the man. Go for Saka. Um, and like that's the guy that I wanted. There wasn't an easy way to get to that. Yes, I could have done a -8 to manage that because I would have had to have taken out either Saliba or Nketiah. Not going to work, right, at that point in time. Hindsight, maybe it would have helped because even with having Gekpo brought in, he at least like canceled out his -4. Ooh, great points. Right now, the captaincy, it's on Nketiah because he's not going to live there anymore. I'm kicking him out of the house. It doesn't really matter what you see. Madison, he's playing against Southampton. I'm keeping him in because he had an illness. He didn't actually have an injury this last game. Let's get down to business. So I'm looking at taking a -8. Okay. And I have 3 things, I guess. 3 dilemmas. And the viewers might be able to see There's a bunch of writing on the board here. So, first off, I want to bring in Estupinha or Royale for Walker. Because Walker, there's been bigger fires to put out. So he's kind of lived his part in the team just by default because everybody else has sucked worse. I'm leaning Royale. Spurs have been playing well. They have a good run of fixtures. Royale's been playing well. Out on the wing. So there's one thought. That's probably going to happen. The next one, Nketiah for who? Probably Tony, just because me and Tony we're best friends. We love each other. I could bring in Watkins, but I don't have faith in Watkins because Tolly Watkins. He goes on a tear of like 4 or 5 games of like good scores and then does nothing. He's probably on the tear of 4 or 5 games right now, so that means he's going to do nothing soon. And then by doing that, that enables me to get Saka for Gekpo. And I know everybody is screaming, don't sell your Liverpool players. They're so good in 2 game weeks. I don't care about 2 game weeks. Like, we got to make up points now. We got to start getting back into the swing of things. And I know a -8 might, if it doesn't pay off 100%, might give me a smaller drop. It's a step forward. Go a little bit back, keep pushing forward. So the team that you see on the screen is literally nothing compared to what is going to happen. The other thought that I've had is, yes, I could end up going and wildcarding because there are a couple situations here. I want to get 3 new defenders at least. I want to maybe bring in a Brighton player or 2 in the midfield, and up top is going to stay relatively the same with a Tony transfer. Yeah, then that's where the team is right now. So -8 or wild card. I don't know. I'm leaning probably more towards the -8 because I feel like that's enough to fix most holes in the team right now. But that is also on the disclaimer of I'm not going to be bringing in a ton of the high owned assets that'll pop up after game week 26 here when wildcards are played. So, yeah, there you go, Doc.
I think you should decide, like, that's my opinion, of course. You should decide what chip strategies you're going to use in order to make a decision. But if you are going for a -8 this game week, I would absolutely get a Stupinian, get Saka, and get Tony. It's fairly straightforward for me. You attack the doubles, and you have the team kind of that has the most upside. They are very good transfers, each single one of them. So I absolutely agree. If you're going to wildcard, then you know my thoughts about a wildcard draft. I think the main decision that made me sway towards a wildcard was how much benefit I'm going to get from not wildcarding and then wildcarding later, like basically saving my wildcard. And it looks like to me there is not much more benefit holding on to it anymore. A wildcard is worth definitely more than a -8, but what can you get if you're gonna get what you're gonna get if you're gonna wildcard right now versus what you're gonna get later? And I don't see much to be gained later on anymore. I thought there was until last last night's games. So yeah, if you decide to take a -8, those are the 3 transfers I would do. But you need to make a decision on your chip strategy, especially also the free hit that would come in blank game week 28.
Zero chip strategy. Doesn't matter to me. I get to a game week and I'm like, okay, 3 game weeks out, there's a blank game week. There's no way I can field a decent amount of players. Looks like a free hit to me. Get to a double. Hey, I have 1 double. I can take negatives to bring in doublers, or I can free hit and just juice up the whole team and make them look like studs. There's your chip
Yeah,
strategy.
fair enough, fair enough. I understand because it's also a bit far away, and there is an international break right before the double game week as well. So a bench boost is a bit, though I want to say dubious, but yeah, also at the same time, probably there is not a better time to play a bench boost. Especially, I'm a big fan of the bench boost. You are a big fan of the bench boost, of course, ironically and sarcastically. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So if you're gonna -8 is Stupinian, Saka, and Tony for me. Yeah.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, Doc, we've gone through captains, we've gone through transfers, we've gone through teams. We shared our thoughts on all three. Anything else you want to say to the people before we call it a day?
I appreciate it if everybody could leave their wildcard teams, drafts down in the comments down below. Give me some ideas, suggest some ideas, critique my team, my current team. It would be nice to have an interaction with the community.
Yeah, for sure. Leave comments, like, subscribe. YouTube's been around forever. You know how to do this thing, people. Let's get to it. But yeah, my thoughts they're kind of all out there. As crazy as game week 26 seems, it's really not that crazy. It's pretty straightforward. So ultimately, do your thing and let's get these points, people. See you next time.
Yeah.